Hey, this is AJ Hard, author of Shiver and Fears, and this is my first podcast. I don't really know what I plan on calling it, but we're just trying things out right now. Today, my partner and I, we're going to discuss about the burning ghost of 21st Street. And this is my partner, Ethan Reece.
Hello, I'm Ethan Reece. I helped create the title of the Burning Ghost.
Yeah, it's very funny. So I actually didn't plan on him being in the story. It kind of happened. I guess everyone just enjoyed your title more than anybody else's.
Yeah, from what I've read so far, it's actually a really nice title. I mean, it's a great title. It draws you in because it's a title of what sounds like horror, but when you start reading it, you realize it's horror, but it's also for young adults, even kids, if you wanted to throw them and let them read something that's a little bit scary, but not too bad.
Yeah, which, I mean, because I think the second place winner was like The Burning Baby, which, I mean, title itself sounds horrific, but I was like, it doesn't really have to be a baby per se, you know. I'm actually glad that it turned out this way. So, for those of you who don't know The Burning Ghost, it was actually in a contest called the What's Your Story contest.
It was like one of those contests where you start off with two teams on each side, and the two teams face off, and whichever title eventually would go on to the next round.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and so we just had voters just vote on, two different stories, and the last one left was The Burning Ghost. So for those of you who don't know about The Burning Ghost, it features Ethan, my partner here, and him and his friends like to torture people in the neighborhood. The reason I posted this is because after meeting with Ethan, I kind of felt like he is a prankster, which I'm not sure. Are you a prankster, Ethan?
Actually, yes, I am, because me and my wife love to mess around, and I'll prank her. Like, she'll be walking down the hallway, and I'll creep up silently behind her to trick her, and she'll, scream, which is hilarious. But yes, I love to prank people, especially if they got on the wrong side. Because in the story, you see that people made fun of him, and that was the reason why he was a prankster. And that's actually part of my story. That's the reason why I prank people.
Yeah. So, in the story, he's actually the only real person in there. So, his friends in the story are imaginary, and the place that he lives is imaginary because he actually lives nearby, a swamp or something. And there's this...
you look at 21st Street in Oklahoma, where we're at.
Oh, yeah.
There's no swamp near there. We don't have a single swamp in Oklahoma, so...
So the street name is real, but the area that it's located is not. So I know you've only read a few pages, but what do you think about the concept so far?
Basically, the concept is people have gone around messing with Ethan and his friends because of the few things they have wrong with them, and so they go around messing with these people. But they live near a swamp, and they were told about this burning ghost, which was a guy trying to put out a fire, but he died. And so they used that as their background about their pranks. But then Ethan starts seeing things that are bringing out the burning ghost as a true story because his stuff is starting to burn and things like that. That's when things start getting a little more personal than the pranks that he's been trying.
Yeah, which I'm not going to spoil the ending or anything, but it does tend to get intense. I don't try to be exactly like R.L. Stine in Goosebumps, but after reading all his Goosebumps books, I try to follow
it. It is a lot like a Goosebumps story, I've realized.
Yeah.
A lot of times Goosebumps likes to go in there and grab at you as a horror story, but it's also a horror story made for a younger crowd.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about your books. Your books are about horror, but it's more of almost like a Goosebumps type series where you can read it to a younger kid, and it's not going to horrify that kid forever, and it's not going to have things in it like my wife's stories where it has things that are more adult than kids.
One thing that I've noticed when reading Goosebumps is, like, horror does happen in Goosebumps. Like, it always makes people think that, oh, it's because of this scary object here, but then realize it was a prank or misunderstanding by somebody. And then soon find out that later that the object really is...
Isn't real.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is real. It's not what they thought of another person or something like that. It really was a real thing, like creature or monster. But they try to play it out with, the monsters try to play it out, if you've watched the series, the monsters try to play it out as it's all a fun and games and a joke. But then later on they try to eat them.
Yeah, exactly. So, in the story, I know I put in that you have a little sister, correct?
Yes, you did in the story.
Tell me what you know about that so far. I know you only read 20 pages.
Basically, his sister wants to become like a movie director, but she also wants to get at her brother every chance she gets. She never knows what she's gonna do, but she kind of just, it goes off the flow.
Yeah.
If something seems like it's gonna work, she uses it. And her brother, and me in the story, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Not unless you actually come up with a whole story. Otherwise, there's no point for me doing this if it's not going to have a storyline. If it's not going to go the way it should, like a normal movie would. Sorry. She's like one of those little sisters that's like, I'm going to tell on you. And the only way she's not going to tell on you is if you give her an ultimatum where she can actually win, where she gets what she wants in order for you not to suffer.
I based your little sister off my niece because she does tend to get her way, and she is very self-absorbed. So,
which, yes, younger brothers and sisters, older brothers and sisters, they are a lot like that. I've had an older brother, and he was a lot like that, so...
Right, exactly. So, yeah, it's an interesting story. So, I know you haven't finished the book, but what is your prediction of the continuance of the story?
Honestly, I think what's going to happen, I think there really is a burning ghost, but at the same time, I also think that the other girl in the story, the one they're trying to prank, is actually the burning ghost, but in like a human type form or something like that.
Well, I guess you'll have to keep reading to find that out.
Yup. I actually plan on finish reading it tonight before I go to bed. Yeah, when I finish the book, maybe we can even make another podcast about the whole entire book. This is just kind of our little podcast of how it is so far, our little quick podcast, our first one to get us started.
Yeah. When
I finish the book, I will definitely let you know, and we can definitely do a whole podcast.
But, yeah, this has been AJ Hard and Ethan Reece on the story, The Burning Ghost of 21st, which, question, is it 21st Street or 21st Boulevard?
When I started reading in the story, the actual name of the story is 21st Street, but when I started reading it, it did say Boulevard in there.
Okay.
So I think it's a mix between 21st Street and Boulevard throughout the story. Okay. So it's really we all know it's the same place, you just... Right. Maybe 23rd Boulevard is a cross street somewhere right there, where it crosses to the swamp.
Yeah. But anyway, alright, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to our viewers.
Goodbye, everybody. Y'all have a good one, and we will see you in our next podcast.
Alright, and I just want to say, as author of Shiver and Fears, stay creepy.